Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rubiduck and welcome back to another redstone video. Today I've got something really pretty awesome for you, in my opinion that is. And basically it's a 3x3 piston door, but this one is special because this one is lever operated, very small, 8 wide, but also reliable. So closing is pretty quick, you have to wait for that. And then that fires just as if it was a double extender, and the best thing about this door is that it's 8 wide and 12 tall, making it 96 blocks in volume, which is the smallest lever operated reliable 3x3 piston door that is. And when I say reliable, I mean the double piston extender doesn't kind of spaz out. It looks like a double piston extender that you would wire up if you had infinite space. If you know what I mean, it doesn't flicker when it's at the top or anything. Yeah, I didn't wait long enough there. So it's not flawless, but it's still reliable. It works in every direction, and it's pretty damn awesome. So this does beat TT Lemon's design of the smallest lever operated reliable door. His was 9 wide and 11 tall, making it 99 blocks. He used a very similar concept for the double though. I just found a way to make it 8 wide. And yeah, before any of you say anything, I know TT Lemon has a button operated door that is the same size as this, but buttons are slightly easier, would you believe, for 3x3 piston doors, because now that we've got the hoppers and droppers, we can make very, very compact T flip-flops, and the button basically gives a free pulse, which is very useful for double extenders with this design. Unfortunately, due to this torch budded thing like that, it's not flawless. It doesn't work in bucket, so if you care about that, this isn't the door for you. But there are plenty of designs that do work in bucket, and if it does bud, it's pretty easy to fix. So yeah, I think we should get on with the tutorial. So to build this, you will need 8 redstone dust, 8 redstone torches, 1 redstone repeater, 1 redstone comparator, 18 building blocks, 1 half slab, 13 sticky pistons, 12 door blocks, 1 furnace minecart, and 1 rail just to place that minecart. You'll get the rail back in the end. It's not actually used in the door. 2 tripwire hooks, 2 pieces of string, 1 cauldron, and 1 water bucket. Again, the bucket isn't used, but the water inside is. So if this were to be your floor level, you would actually have to dig down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And this would be the bottom of your trench, so it's a 4 by 1 by 8 long, so just dig down 4 blocks and 8 blocks across, and that's your door. And we can start with the construction. Okay, so we're going to start with the layout. So just come over to the far right hand side and count along 3 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, delete those, and just build up pistons like so, and those will be your 2 pistons on the bottom. Then you can delete this piston, so you have these 2 blocks here, and you can delete, when I said piston I meant block. You can delete the blocks, and then just build up a frame like so, and there's your door frame. Now we just got to do the rest of the pistons, so place 2 up like so, 3 along the top, like that, and then 2 more on this side, on the lower half like so. So those are your pistons. Now I suggest just placing 1 here, and 1 up here. And those are all your pistons. Sorry, my bad. This piston here, you can remove that and place it actually on top of those. My mistake. Make sure you change that, or else this door will not work. Okay, so let's start off with the closing, and basically come down to this bottom piston and place 1 block diagonally to the left, torch on top, 2 dust along like so. At this point, I just like to get a lever. That's another thing I should have put in the chest. You also need some sort of input. At this point, I like to turn it off, so these don't. 1 tick, and then turn it back on. There we go. And just place a block on the face of that piston. Don't worry about that, we'll fix that later. Torch on top, block on top of that torch, and a dust on top of that block. Now if we just retract that, reset all your pistons, and you can see it closes and opens nicely. This is a very generic design for a closing circuit, but it works, so why change a winning equation? Now this is the bit where the tripwire comes in, so simply place your half slab on top of that piston, and then build up, let's see, 3 blocks on top of that redstone, so go 1, 2, 3, break those 2, and then get your tripwire hook and your string, place 1 tripwire hook on that block, come over to this far right piston on the top, place a block on top and tripwire hook facing that way, then just connect it up with some string, and they should go taut like that, and if you step in it, pistons should go on. So that's all working fine. Now we're actually going to have to break that tripwire hook, my bad. Place a rail on top, then a dust on a rail, good luck. Furnace on top of that rail, break the block, and you get your rail back. And then this bit is a bit, you might have to change this, it's quite hard to do, but just nudge your minecart a bit, hopefully it won't fall off. So it's further towards these pistons, because if it's too far to this side, it will push up and it will hit the tripwire hook rather than the actual wire. So now when we reset it and take a look, that should happen. Now I don't really recommend you actually check if it's working in survival, because it'll mean you have to reset, but I'm just showing you in creative. Now to power these 2 pistons, get your dust back in your inventory, place 2 dust along like so, a torch on the back of the block the tripwire hook is on, block on top of that dust with the dust on top, and then this torch facing into that piston, and you can just replace that to pull back any blocks that get spat out, and that should work. It will mean this piston is slightly delayed in turning off compared to the ones next to it, but with this size you don't expect the design to be completely perfect. So that's all looking nice. Now all that's left to do is the double extender. So for this I use this pretty well known trick of torch on top of block. If we then invert that and get a button just to simulate a pulse, you can see we press it and it extends, press it again, it retracts. But I found a way of making it more simple than sending in 2 pulses, and when I say simple I kind of mean more space efficient. If we get this cauldron, so yeah, just I should explain what I'm doing. Place a block next to this bottom piston here with the torch on top, then go down diagonally to the right and place a comparator facing into the torch, then a piston facing upwards on the block next to it, and a cauldron there, so the cauldron should be right next to the comparator. Then a water bucket, use that to fill up your cauldron, and that should give an output. Now if this happens, you can just break the comparator and replace it, and everything should be fine. Once again, I stress that this will not work in minecart multitask. This will not work in bucket because this updates randomly because of server stuff. If that does happen to you, simply break the torch, no, that's not how you do it. Break the comparator, this torch will turn on, but the problem is this piston is extended, the bottom one isn't. So just break that and reset it like so, and then just place your comparator until it works. So I'm going to explain how this works now. You don't actually need redstone blocks, but I'm just going to demonstrate. If you place that block there, you can see it extends, retracts, and that works. So that's a compact way of getting pulses, and it's also inverted, so we don't need 2 torches. It's just perfect, but I needed to find a way of only making this fire 4 times, and it had to be reliable, so I was thinking torch burnouts, I can try it. So I tried it. And let me just show you how to build this final part, if you place a dust under your lever, so the lever's on, break that block out, place a torch on that block, so if the block that has the dust on it, you go one to the right and place the block on there, and then a block on top of that, and a dust next to that block again, so the torch should start flickering. Then all you need to do, this is what makes it reliable, it has a long delay compared to the normal very fast flickering, and what that means is because of all the delays that have been added, so comparators take a second to turn off with these, well, not literally a second, they take a few ticks to turn off with these cauldrons. 4-tick repeater, that takes 4 ticks obviously, so it gives me enough delay to get the rest of the opening done. Torch is more delay, basically it gives us enough time and stability to make this a good door to use, and whenever this fires, it looks like a pretty much normal double extender, except it's a bit slow. So now, if we remove all that and flick the lever, close is fine. You do have to wait a bit for this to fire, but you won't be spamming it or it will break like most 3x3 doors do. So congratulations, you have a finished piston door. Apart from that, that was a failed record. Don't ask, it is reliable, I messed up. But if we flick this lever, there we go, the opening works nicely. And the closing still works. You do have to wait for this to stop, but once the sound's gone away, you should be able to do that every time. Sometimes you'll get very unlucky and this will update just as you flick the lever, or just before, so it will cause it to break, but that's a very rare occurrence, so you don't really need to worry about that. Sometimes it makes that noise, which is a bit annoying, but overall this is a good design. And yeah, now some people may argue this minecart is actually 1.5 wide. You can in fact use dogs and cats and things, but they're not as survival friendly because animals in Minecraft not fun to move. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that is the end of today's video. If you have enjoyed, please remember to leave a like and drop a comment down in the comments section. And I guess I'll see you all next video. Goodbye.